famous people, they just happen to fall in love with other super famous people. The same on social media. It's like the dream partner of most people who are really big on social media just happens to be someone who just also happens to have 1 million subscribers or followers. Like, what a coincidence. You see what I'm saying? It's like, just go look at her profile. That's like really all you need to know. You know, like this just happened to be my dream girl. Couldn't have been a normal girl, you know, that's not into social media. No. This just happened to be my family-oriented dream girl. And she just happens to look perfect and have 13 million followers. All right, welcome back to a new video. Let's waste no time. Today I'm going to be reacting to Lewis Howes doing a podcast with The Roommates. The Roommates is a channel I'm quite familiar with. From my understanding, it's a channel to basically help young single men become men of high value. And it basically just talks about how to get girls and not lose yourself, and how to basically play the game and respect yourself and don't be a sucker, all those type of things. Now, who is Lewis Howes? Let's do a quick Google search. Lewis Howes is a New York Times bestselling author, lifestyle entrepreneur, high performance business coach, and keynote speaker, a former professional football player, and 2 sports All-American. He's a current USA men's national handball team athlete. So it basically sounds like this guy is amazing at everything. He's a great writer. He's an amazing athlete. And he's a good-looking guy, too, from what I can tell. So let's get into the video. The secret to dating extremely desirable women. I love videos like this, so let's have some fun. Let's see what they say.
Something that impresses me the most. Many things about you impress me the most. But I think what a lot of guys always reach out to me when it comes to, you know, finding a relationship with, you know, a beautiful, amazing woman, you know, and that's what so many guys like, you know, how do you do this? How do you get there? What is it like? And I'm like, yo, it's for the guys at the top. Some of these girls that you want, if you want a 1% woman, you have to be a 1% man.
I actually agree with this. I was just going to say, everybody, all men, they all want the best women. They all have to be super hot. They all have to be super intelligent, creative, be family-oriented, all that stuff. But it's like, well, there's not that many of them. But I like what he's saying. You know, if you want to have a 1% woman, you have to be a 1% man. And most guys out there just don't have that self-critical ability to look at themselves in a realistic light.
And so to me, there's no other person who could describe that experience such as yourself, because you're dating what some people will consider one of the most beautiful women in the world. She's desired by millions of people. You know what I mean? You probably have all types of experiences. And so to me, I'm just curious with like, you being where you're at in life, how has that experience been like being, you know, the man that you are, and then having this woman beside you who, you know, is very popular, well-known person who is desired by a lot of people, but also desperately loves you?
All right, before we let him answer, let's just have a quick look at who he's dating. So it's Yanet Garcia, 13.6 million followers. TV host, actress, fitness girl. All right. So, yeah, first impression, some model pictures. Oh, we got Lewis right there. Yup. Looks like, well, she basically looks like an Instagram model in these pictures. That's something that always strikes me about, like, women that supposedly have this amazing career. There's really not much difference when you look at their Instagram between them and just like your average just IG model who's just posting ass pics all day. It's kind of like Instagram is the great equalizer for women. Like, they just all want to do. It's never enough. Like, it's not enough to be known as the super beautiful woman that's smart and all these things. Like, no, but like, I want to show my ass too. Not that you're not allowed to do that. It just strikes me as funny. You would think that at some point women that get at a certain level, they're like, I'm not going to play those silly games. I'm not going to put these pictures out there. But well, yeah, this is her. Obviously, a very good-looking woman, Yanet Garcia. All right, let's keep on going. Let's see what Lewis has to say.
What's the experience like? Is
Yeah.
what he said? It's a great experience.
Yeah.
And I deserve it. Because...
Talk your ish, Lewis.
No, I deserve...
All right, can we just... Why do I feel like I'm sitting in a locker room in a high school basketball team? Like, this is just right off the bat, and I know we're only 2 minutes, 21 in, but it's just the vibe of the interviewer is so jockish. It's so like, like you can just smell the testosterone. You can smell him being pumped up and just hanging on every word that Lewis says. I feel like we're going to be in for an interview of a lot of, there's going to be a lot of buttering up. There's going to be a lot of like, yeah, anything you say goes. Just like this overall exciting type of behavior to me already tells me that this video and this channel is definitely geared towards very young men who are very much like, basically like teenagers, like kids, because I feel like that's the interviewer. The interviewer is already acting like a kid, if you ask me. Like Lewis basically answers the question like saying, I deserve it, which I'm sure he does. And the guy's like, Lewis, it's like, all right.
Because, and she came to me.
Let him know, Lewis. Let him know.
I mean, she followed me.
Yeah.
First.
And I find it interesting that he right off, straight out the gate, he has to open up with, she came to me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She became aware of me
Yes.
through a piece of content. And then she discovered and learned more about me. So she was attracted to something she saw. And was like, oh. And her story is like,
I love how these guys, man, they're able to take the most mundane, simplistic nonsense and they can make it sound like they just made you have this crazy epiphany, like they just dropped this huge knowledge bomb on you. She was attracted to something she saw. Like, yeah, no shit. I guess that's how it goes, right?
I saw a video on Facebook originally.
He's a great speaker.
Of mine. And she was like, then she started watching more content and then she started seeing photos and everything. And she was attracted to the energy, the message, and the mission.
I wonder if they ever had that talk where he sat her down and it's like, babe, can you just like go over the things that you were attracted to? Because this doesn't sound like she was attracted to the message, the energy, and the mission. This sounds like the intro to his next book. Like, have you ever met a woman tell you like, I like you and you got a great sense of humor, but really I was attracted to your mission. So to me, this right off the bat, this already comes across very like put together. It doesn't sound like a real experience. Like I normal people don't talk like that. Like, I was attracted to your mission. Like, all right, again, maybe I'm being a little bit overly critical. So let's keep it going.
Not that bad looking.
But that takes consistent effort, energy, and commitment. I could eat whatever and not be good looking, but I have discipline, I have structure in my life to be able to like stay fit, right?
I mean, I find it really hard to believe that she was attracted to him simply because of his looks. I'm sure that his stat, like, it's funny because he starts off talking about the energy and the mission, but then straight away he jumps to basically saying, look, if I was a bad shape, she wouldn't be into me, right? So that's kind of like a little contradiction right there.
And so she was attracted to me originally, and I saw that she followed me, and I was like, oh, I know who this person is, and I was attracted to her. But I remember thinking to myself, like,
I wonder if he was also attracted to her mission.
This is the type of girl that I dream about, right? Growing up. Like a Latin woman, beautiful, independent, financially resourceful, career-driven, like family-oriented, all these things, right? She's the full package.
I wonder how he knows that before meeting her that she's family-oriented. I wonder how that works because she posts a picture on Father's Day. I mean, these are just, again, these are all things that sounds very fake.
But I was like, you know what? For the last 10 years, I've been overcoming all my insecurities, all my fears, building myself up, developing new skills to be so desirable for someone like this to come to me. And
So basically what he's saying right here is that his main motivator in the last 10 years for him to work on himself was basically to attract someone else. So you did all that stuff for someone else to like you. You didn't do it for you. You see what I'm saying? You did that so someone would find you attractive. This is something where I always talk about this. I talk about this with my clients all the time. Never do things to appease someone else. Like, that's a bad motivation. If you want to get in shape just because you want to impress a girl, I'm sorry, that's just not the right way to approach it. Like, you need to do those things for yourself. Like, people, and of course he's saying this, I feel like, because this type of channel, like, I'm sure 95% of this audience is just single men. So usually men who are single, who don't have the regular sex, they just put relationships and women on this amazing pedestal where it's just like, basically, if you're not getting laid, it's hard to see things clear. Like, the value and the worth of sex just gets built up to this immense level in your head where it basically becomes the only thing worth investing time in. And I feel like he is playing exactly to the audience. Like, I feel like he came to this interview knowing exactly who he was talking to.
it took me focusing on insecurities and overcoming them, overcoming fears, building relationships, building something meaningful that impacts other people's lives around my business and brand and message. And by going all in on those things, you start to attract people to that energy. But if you're sitting around at home on your mom's couch playing video games 6 hours a day, you're not going to attract the dream girl. You're just not someone that you're desired by, that you're excited about. So you've got to be thinking about who do I need to become to be so desirable by anyone? By anyone.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that make sense? Why would you want to just become someone so you can be desirable for someone else? Like, that's such a backwards way of thinking. And what if this person ends up getting up and leaving you? What then? Your whole personality, your whole little bubble that you've constructed comes crashing down? No. This is what I'm talking about. This is the way of thinking where it's like you are looking for someone else to be the missing piece to your puzzle. No, you need to be a complete puzzle before you're ready to be with someone else. That's how it should be. Not this way of thinking where it's like everything that you're doing is geared towards attracting your dream girl. It doesn't make any sense. But then again, he knows exactly who he's talking to. So I would love to hear him. I'm sure that depending on the platforms and the people that he speaks with, he'll fine-tune his little speech. This just sounds very like put together.
And I got to the place after my last breakup. I remember after my last relationship ended, I was like, I'm going to be single for a year. I'm going to be single for at least a year. I'm going to take my time. And I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to like, hey,
So you're Roy Oates.
if there's some, dates I want to go on and
Louis, you're talking about having sex. You're talking about one night stands. I see you. I get you. Like, come on, man. They're too excited. Jesus.
just like have some fun and experience it, I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
I love how Louis, he's so intelligent. He knows exactly what to say to make the audience relate. You know, he's like, you know what? Even though I'm this very good, decent guy, I'm trying to have some fun too, fellas. I'm trying to have some fun. Like, he's smart, man. He knows who he's talking to, and he knows exactly what to say to make them feel like he's one of them.
So I was like, I really kind of built myself through this previous relationship and kind of like grew in that. I never dated anyone after that, right? So I was like, kind of been in a relationship for 7 years because I was in a relationship for a year and a half before that, and then 5 years on and off. And then I was like, I've never known what's available in the world. And then a month later, we started talking, and that kind of happened. And I remember saying to myself, resisting her originally, because I was like, gosh, I don't want to jump into this relationship. She really wanted to do something with me and be in a relationship, and I was like, let's slow it down because, I need some time to process, heal, all these things. And also, I just haven't been single in a while. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking to myself, I can either not be in a relationship with her and go see what's out there for a year and maybe miss out on my dream girl, or I can see where this goes and give it a chance. And so went into that option because I was like, I don't want to regret missing out on her. Yeah. And I want to experience that. And this is exactly what my dream girl. But I don't think she wouldn't have been attracted.
Again, I love how he was able to identify her as his dream girl within a couple of weeks or even months of them talking. I really feel like it takes a little bit more time, but it's just hard not to, assume that the superficial factors have so much to do with it. And this happens all the time. Like famous people, they just happen to fall in love with other super famous people. The same on social media. It's like the dream partner of most people who are really big on social media just happens to be someone who just also happens to have 1 million subscribers or followers. Like, what a coincidence. You see what I'm saying? It's just go look at her profile. That's really all you need to know. This just happened to be my dream girl. Couldn't have been a normal girl, that's not into social media. No. This just happened to be my family-oriented dream girl. And she just happens to look perfect and have 13 million followers.
Overcoming all that stuff, building something, adding value in the world. She wouldn't have been attracted to me. And so that's process.
Well, Louis, to be quite fair, she probably would not have been attracted to you had you not had your massive social media presence. These things have as much to do with love and genuine attraction as they do with business opportunities and collaborations. I'm just not going to sit here and pretend like this is just all a big coincidence. You're obviously, I'm not saying they don't love each other, but they're both gaining greatly from the situation. So,
and that's everything we've talked about. Finding mentors to help me overcome these things, developing skills by creating a fear list and becoming fearless by going all in on the fear list, to the emotional agility. 6 years prior, I started doing the emotional intelligence work, which made me more emotionally available. So doing those 3 things over a decade. This
is all just this is one big commercial. He just spent the last minute just basically pitching what he's selling. My fears list, I became emotionally available, and I'm sure you can purchase those programs on his website. So all of this, again, they use the podcast format to kind of simulate this real and authentic, raw way of, communicating, conversating. But this is like you're watching a commercial. It's just under the guise of a authentic conversation, but there's nothing authentic about it. He has the things that he wants to talk about in his head. He has a list of products that he basically wants to mention, and that's what he's doing. And he's doing a hell of a job, mind you. He's really good at making it flow and seem natural.
Allowed me to really start attracting, a lot of women, right? The DMs that I get today still, and then from massive celebrity influencers.
What are DMs like nowadays, Louis?
I just don't understand why any successful male would want to mention that, the amount of DMs of the famous chicks that I still get to this day. To me, that's just that reeks of insecurity. What are you still trying to prove? Obviously, you've got it all, from the outside looking in. You've got the dream girl. You've got your own career, an amazing career. And then still, you have this need to mention you have all these really famous chicks in your Instagram DMs, Oh, man, you had no idea. If only you knew. I'm not even buying it. I'm not even, I'm sure that he has some IG models in there who really, are not known for anything besides their body. But speaking of, in terms of, real established, self-respecting women, I just can't imagine a woman that's got all her stuff together and that respects herself and that's mature, hitting up a guy in the DMs of whom it's very clear that he's with someone. That is just a speaking of character, like that is a very bad personality trait. That tells you that you have a very shitty character. Like, you know, it's like kind of like those people that want to break up relationships. They want to make the person cheat and then expect the person not to cheat after they get with them. But yeah, history will always repeat itself, obviously. So yeah, this for me is a very big red flag that he's talking about, basically bragging about his DMs.
I mean, girls are, I guess, respectful, but they're flirtatious. And I won't reply to those. I won't even like open those or reply to make sure that I'm respectful of my relationship.
So how do you know that they're being flirtatious and respectful when you're not even opening the message? Like last time I checked in the DMs, if you don't open them, you can only see the first couple of words. So again, all this stuff sounds really good, but it just doesn't really add up.
But I just see extremely attractive, well-off women.
They want you.
Well, they're engaging.
Okay.
They're connecting. They're reaching out.
How do you know that they're well off? Because they're posing by a Ferrari? Because they're posing by a view in their Airbnb? You know, again, this is like, there's a lot of assumptions going on, and I just feel like he is selling that, he's perpetuating that typical Instagram social media facade where people think that all of these guys and all of these girls are super wealthy because they got leased cars or they're posing by a car or a big house. Like, a lot of these people are homeless, man, living out of hotels. A lot of these women are escorts. They are very expensive escorts. They don't even own property, but it's just this big facade. And I just wish that he would speak more on the truth behind that instead of just like perpetuating this lie. The problem is just a lot of people still haven't caught on. They still think that everything they see on Instagram is real. It's like, it's really sad.
I'm just like, okay, it feels nice to know that like I've developed myself over years, that I think each man wants to become a magnet for opportunities. You know, you only do that.
I think each man wants to become a magnet for opportunities. That is the most smooth way that I've ever heard to say, I think every man is trying to get as much laid as he possibly can. Like, that's what he's saying, but he's saying it in such a slick way, a magnet for opportunities. Just say what you mean, Lewis. Come on, stop sugarcoating it.
By overcoming a lot of stuff inside of yourself that women would be attracted to. And I'm a work in progress. Like, I'm in coaching therapy right now to still help with emotional challenges I'm dealing with. With every new relationship, new business opportunity, there's different stuff we got to deal with.
I'm in coaching therapy right now. Hey, man, call me cynical, call me a hater. I just find it so hard to believe that this guy is going to go talking to a coach every week. Like, imagine being Lewis House and like hiring someone. Like, who is he taking coaching classes from? Fucking Gandhi, the reincarnation. Like, who is telling Lewis House, you know, how to overcome? That's what I would love to know, man. Richard Branson. I mean, I don't know, man. It just sounds like. This, to me, again, sounds like a very clear marketing ploy to basically tell people, like, look, there's no shame in hiring a coach. There's no shame in paying for therapy, because even I'm still paying for therapy. So you definitely should. Like, that's the underlying message here. It's very clear. I'm not buying it, Lewis. I'm not buying you going to talk to someone every week or even every month to talk about your insecurities. I think you're pretty high on yourself. I think you're pretty high on life, and I think you're happy as hell. And I just don't see you like going to talk to someone about, oh man, I still got all these things from my past that I haven't processed. Like, I got this $1 million deal on the table, but I'm just not sure if I'm comfortable taking it. Like, I'm not buying it. The message is, you should pay for therapy because I'm doing the same. By the way, we just happen to have the sale on my website.
To break through that next level. So it's never going to go away. I'm never going to be like, oh, I've got to figure it out. Yeah.
It's always about next levels. And it's interesting because in the beginning of the video, he clearly stated, you know, it was very obvious that he was talking to young men who spend a lot of their time playing video games. There was no coincidence that he said that he said, you know, if you're sitting on your couch playing video games 6 hours a day, you're not going to get anywhere. And now he keeps bringing up levels. And it's so clear and so obvious that obviously these men who play video games, they're all about getting to the next level, like beating the next level, beating the boss so get to the next level. Like none of this is a coincidence, guys. None of this stuff, this is all very pragmatic. He knows exactly what he's doing and exactly what he's saying.
Got the girl, got the family, got the business. Like there's always going to be a challenge I'm going to need to overcome. If not, I should be scared and go look for a challenge.
Yeah, that's just nonsense. Like this is like the same thing that David Goggins basically does, where it's kind of like, if you're not scared, if you're not suffering, if you're not in constant pain or fear, like you're not living. Like you can never be content. There's always a next challenge, and if not, you're a pussy. It's like, come on, man. How does that make sense? Like, how do you always have to have a feeling of fear or something in order for you to feel alive? Like this whole mindset where people are so focused on just constantly challenging themselves. That's how people burn out. That's how people get depressed, because it's never enough. It's never enough with these guys. Like you can have a great career, a great girl, but your girl doesn't look like an IG model. Gotta level up, guys. That's the message that just keeps coming back. Basically, they are basically just constantly focusing on chasing things that are out of their reach, and just the chase for happiness is a negative process in itself. Like you're just constantly focusing on what you don't have instead of looking what you do have. And by constantly creating next levels and new challenges, you're never going to actually have a moment to be happy with what you do have, because you're always focusing on you're always working to get towards what you're not having. And there is no end to that way of life.
Oh, it feels good to be, attractive to other people, right? It feels good.
Yeah.
But I never felt that growing up. I didn't feel that growing up. And it wasn't until I started working on myself consistently where I started to be like, oh, that girl's showing interest. Oh, they didn't reject me when I said hi to them? Oh, that's interesting. Like, it took years.
Wow.
Failing, mistakes, mess ups, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good, man.
I still need to improve. Like, I need a lot more improvement.
That's what it is.
Again, I need a lot more work. Yeah, Lewis, you need a lot more work, clearly.
So good, because we preach that level up process. Like, it's a lifetime. And, they see us and they look up to us, but we look up to you. And it's just the levels that you're at in every area in our lives that we want to get to is so inspiring.
So much ego involved. Like, they see us, they look up to us. But, they think we got it made, but you're the big dog. Like, we look up to you. Like, this stuff is just so, like, such a macho way of looking at things.
Because it's like, man, this is the kind of mindset you need to have, period. Like, for the rest of your life, no matter what it is, to be the best self that you can be. It's never a level where you can reach it and you can be comfortable and you can relax and it's like, now I'm good at age 40 because I got however much money in my bank account. No, there's so many levels of lessons that you can learn, character that you can build, and new experiences that's going to challenge you. And you have to consistently make yourself uncomfortable to really continue to grow as a person. And then
it just doesn't make any sense that you consistently have to make yourself uncomfortable to grow as a person. That's just a straight up lie. And it's been perpetuated over and over by these ridiculous channels who just want you to believe that it's never good enough. This type of content is exactly why people get depressed as hell. People who actually do have a good life and do have a lot of things to be happy about, because they feel like, oh man, I got nothing. This is all about comparing. Guess what? We're more than 7 billion people on this planet. Like, we're not all going to be rich millionaires dating Instagram models that have 30 million followers, because that's the message here. They're using Lewis as the pinnacle of male success. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that's just not in the cards for most of you and us. It's just not. And that's okay. That should be fine. But they're just bringing a message, this fake positivity message. Basically, the underlying message is kind of like, you're not good enough. You're never going to be good enough. And you better be uncomfortable, because otherwise you're not growing. So Yeah, the fact that you're struggling every day is a good thing.
You do that, that naturally you get the benefits.
Yeah.
You get the benefits of success. You get the benefits of the women. You get the benefits of the respect. So just seeing that in your life and knowing that the work that we're putting.
The benefits of the women, plural, of course, has to be more than one. You're going to be swimming in vagina if you just watch your videos. That's the message, man. That's very clearly the message from this type of content creator.